Hey dudes, YouTube dudes. This is Margolie's case. In Greenwich, the cold case. Took place in 1984, in the month of September. You see my other videos. Larry Congiu in Greenwich, Connecticut. Of Greenwich, Connecticut. Chickahominy to be specific. Alexander Street to be more specific, and I believe it's 4 Alexander Street. I'd have to go by and look, not check, but it's been a while, but I think it's 4, if I remember. Well, that was Larry Congiu's house. His father's house. They moved the very same year we did. After June of that year, when school got out, immediately we moved from Chickahominy. Chickahominy is the area behind Wendy's, okay? And, you know Wendy's, and there's a Shell station there on the other side of the post road. Wendy's over there. There's Herald Avenue. That takes you right in. And Joseph, and what's the name of the road? I forget the name of the road. There's a liquor store there. There's another road that'll take you in through there on Hamilton Avenue. You know, I went to Hamilton Avenue School. Probably so did Larry. But he was 17 and a half. I was 13. I just got out of Hamilton Avenue. I turned 13 in April. June came. You know, school's out. And, you know, anyway, you know, what happened to me happened. You know, and you heard what happened to me. It's in my video. It's in one of my videos. You heard that. Well, I lived, so, you know. And actually, it didn't make me a stronger person. Oh, I know, I'm one tough cookie. I really don't know. I mean, I've had more times I probably can count my lives, you know, than a cat even, you know. 10 fingers maybe, and who knows, maybe a couple toes, you know. Anyway, at this point, I really don't think a human's going to take me out of this world. Another one at least, you know. Something's going to, but probably not another human at this point. I'm thinking there's been plenty of chances and plenty of tries, you know, in my life. Anyway, we'll get to that. And I'll probably have to do a few videos to get this out. I really don't know, and I'm going to have to kind of slowly. And I'm going to go forward in time, backward in time, and in between. All right? It's gotten a lot bigger, okay? And everybody thinks it's some kind of cover-up, this or that. It has been solved. When I was about 17 or 18, we're talking 30 years ago, by myself and a detective, McCue. He was on the case at the time. His partner, Dobson, was on my case. They were partners. So he knew all about my case, and he knew all about Matt's case. And so did Dobson, Detective Dobson. He's been retired. Those two have been retired maybe for 20 years now. Probably. You know, I knew Pasquale Irafino, he's retired now. I knew him, the two narcs, Vinny. He was a black guy, and there was Pasquale, two really good guys. You know, I actually made the first crack buy at Arcuri's. I was a driver there when I was 18 about. And crack just came around. I heard about it over the radio. You know, the radio stations in New York City, you know, the hip-hop stations, KTU, you know, Z100, that kind of thing. My friend and I heard all about it. It didn't sound good to us, you know, what it does to everything. We stuck to good old, you know, ganja. You know, we didn't do too much drinking even, you know. Me and a few friends, you know, we liked going around dancing. We did sports and ran around and did all kinds of shit. So we really were, you know, a lot of athletes, you know, people. I'm an athlete. I really can't have time for drinking and shit. It'll ruin my day. Yeah, you can't run around a basketball court or whatever, tennis court when you got a case of beer in you still from the day before. You know. Anyway, you know, but Larry grew up in the same neighborhood. All right, that neighborhood behind Wendy's. So did I. All right, until I was 13 in June of that year. That had happened to me. So I moved to Pembroke. All right, now people know where Pembroke is, and it has its own zip code. Chickahominy shares a zip code with all of backcountry Greenwich, so 06830. Greenwich Avenue, the center of Greenwich, you know, downtown, like I guess Greenwich, you know, there, the avenue, the business district, basically, the backcountry, you know, the backwoods, and Chickahominy. It's kind of odd, and all the police came out of Chickahominy. Most of them. There's a Detective Payne, the juvenile. He was a juvie detective. To this day, I've never heard of any kind of, like, juvie detective. You know, I don't know what he would be detecting amongst kids, but, and just one of them, yeah. I really don't know what that was all about, but he used to live on Hamilton Avenue. I delivered to him a couple times from Express Pizza, which is still there to this day on Hamilton Avenue. Anyway, you know, but I read that case report. with McCue when I was about 17, 18. And between the two of us, we solved the case. All right? And like I said, I made the first crack buy in Greenwich a long time ago. From a driver, out in the back of our Curies. One day, when I was around 18, 19, when we first heard about crack, and it came to Stanford. It was here pretty quickly. Hit New York City first, then to Stanford. We're the first major hub out of New York City from Grand Central. So it stopped right here, for Connecticut at least. And, they were selling all around the hospital, the projects around the hospital. Not really the hospital, but they're right next to each other. All around there, on the street, everywhere. All over. I mean, there were some Jamaicans in that park, Rose Park in Stanford, where they played soccer and everything, and the park's right across the street, and the hospital's right there, and I was just using the road. I'd go by there sometimes, but you see those crack dealers out there, and it was different. They were all, tons of them everywhere, all over the freaking place. And they were just, it was so obvious, but whatever. And I would drive out, really, in Rose Park to be the Jamaicans selling the weed. Once in a while, I went to go get a little weed there, but it was always really crap for the money. And one time, somebody put real grass, like from the field, into the bag and tricked me. I got home and looked at it and like, what the fuck? That was the last time I went there. I said, I'd never been ripped off. You go to the Bronx, you're not going to get ripped. Unless you rip them off, then they'll probably hurt you. But, no one's going to rip anyone off. No one. And they don't do it to you. They want their customers to come back, There is kind of a competition there. I mean, start putting, baby powder, as far as like selling cocaine, it's baby powder. Eventually, people are going to figure that one out. It's not going to take a lot of work to get around, probably. Anyway, it definitely, that person ain't coming back, No repeat customer there. Anyway, but but we went over that case, my case report, and Matt's side by side. And that was something McCue had never done. He called me in, I think I was 17 or 18, and asked me to come in. And we were alone, just the two of us, in the detective's office. And this is when it was before the new police station. The detectives were in that back building. The police were in that front building with the firehouse or the firemen. And then the detectives were back behind there. Like right now, if you were to go down that one way, at the bottom of the avenue there that leads to the police station, the new one, they turned that mostly into a garage. There was a door there, though. That building's still the same. There's a door there. I think it's just sealed off. I don't think you can get in that building. But that's where you were going to pay your parking tickets, and upstairs with the detectives. They were in a totally separate building. I would go in there. I had parking tickets all the time because I was delivering a lot. And I get parking tickets up and down Greenwich Avenue because there's nowhere to park. Only no parking. And, all the FedEx guys did everyone. And a lot of people knew my car, too. I worked, I played, I had a lot of friends in Greenwich. I grew up there my whole life, And my whole life I've been around here. I still am, kind of, And, so, McCue called me in that day. And, actually, the parking tickets, I'll get like 100 parking. I probably had hundreds of parking tickets over the years there. And I would just go in, that's where you pay the parking ticket. Sort of way to get in there, people thinking, whatever. So I would go in there, and I had the parking ticket in my hand. Kind of hold it outside my hand. So, as far as anyone knows, I'm paying a parking ticket. I go in there, right past where you pay the parking ticket, because the cashier's right there. You go past where they pay that, take a right, go upstairs, I think it's couple flights, and you're there. And then, hey, guys, what's up? They give them the parking ticket. They take care of that. And we'd have a talk, maybe. Anyway, but like I said, I made the first crack buy in Greenwich. That little guy outside the back of our Curies tried to sell me crack. I said, no, I don't want it the first time. And I went right away to who? Detective McCue. V, or Vinny, and Pasquale. They called me Jay for joint. And they let me know. And really, they were letting me get away with it anyway. But they tell me, you can do whatever you want. You're helping us out with this kind of thing. And they knew it was really basic goals that they were smoke weed anyway. Everybody knew I smoked weed in Greenwich. But no one cared because they knew what I went through. And they knew it wasn't really the worst thing in the world. And, anyway, well, Dick McCue called me in, and we put both case reports side by side. And he was able to brainstorm with me too. And, there were things that in my report that really even, he didn't know at the time when I was in there talking with him. And both reports, if you look at all the similarities between not only what happened to Matt, like the injuries and the weapons used, and there's things that are not in my report at all, and McCue never even heard. He really didn't need. He didn't need to hear a few things to figure out that who did it. All right, now or that Larry Congiu killed Matt Margolies, and when he heard a couple things from me that he never knew, he put that together with, oh, definitely, you know. So first we went over the two reports, and the first few things in common were about Matt and me specifically were that, right, I had medium complexion, dark hair, brown hair, not black, brown hair. We gotta keep that straight, dark brown hair. All right. We both had bangs at the time too, because we were young. We really weren't styling the hair yet. Bangs. We both had brown hair, about the same cut, about the same height, weight. We were both wearing the same things on the day it happened to us. Brown eyes too. We were both wearing sweats, sweatpants, a t-shirt, socks, sweat socks, and sneakers. All right. Matt was found stabbed multiple times in the back with a knife, a steak knife. All right. This is the average steak knife. Be bought anywhere really across the country. That's part of the problem. He and another thing that McCue started noticing was that not only that was that not only the same, and what happened to him, Matt got stabbed too multiple times, and he noticed that. He said, Jeff, he goes, what, really, actually, when I'm looking at this, every single wound that Larry inflicted on you with a nail. See, Larry, he had me at the end. He already hurt me in a few ways, but at the very end, what made me realize that he wanted to kill me, that was going to be the end result if I let it happen, or that was what was going to happen to me, or whatever what he was trying to do. I mean, is when he told me to lay down on my stomach on the carpet, then he shrouded me. Then boom, 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 and mostly I just felt his fist, but they were actually a nail stabbing me in the back, and there's really not a lot of time to feel pain at this point. You're really not feeling pain. It's happening all too fast to feel the pain, actually. And, bam, 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 5 times in my back. Well, McCue said each one of those wounds would have been fatal. But the 6-inch further nail, his fist was too big. He was holding onto the nail. So his fist was stopping it. It couldn't go deep enough. But each wound, if it went deep enough, would have been fatal. And he would have been asking a dead kid at that point, because now he had told me that McCue, he asked me to pull down my pants. Matt was found in his underwear. Dead before Larry ever got the underwear off, right? And McCue said to me right there, when I talked to him at 18 or 17, I just realized, Matt, with you and Matt, he never has underwear off. Larry didn't get to the point where, Larry never actually molested him, probably. Just like with you. Basically, he was asking a dead kid. He already killed you. And all the places to hit. He knew 5 spots to hit that would have killed you. Exact spots. That's amazing. Not being a doctor or anything. And what that makes him is kind of like what you would call a natural-born killer. You're saying he just knows where to go, naturally. The right spots to go. All right? And, but that's what saved my life, basically, is that he just wasn't that good at what he was doing. Anyway, he said, that was another thing. He said, now, Matt was, and he also found out that Matt was in my homeroom. See, Matt was going from Glenville School to Western Junior High School, and I was going from Hamilton Avenue. I moved to Pembroke. But it didn't bother me that much. My sister bothered more because she had to go to elementary school. She was not with her friends anymore, or her friends that she had at Hamilton Avenue. But I was going on a Western with all my friends from Ham Ave, along with Glenville, the elementary schools, onto the junior high school. So Matt was in my, and that's where I met him. Or first even knew him. I didn't even met him much. He's just my homeroom class. Within the first week of school in September, Larry got a tip of manslaughter for what he did to me in the courthouse, based on my testimony. His father, I think we all testified separately somehow. And I think I testified first, without the father or Larry in there. And then the defendant always calls their witnesses last, That's how it goes. So, and only the father, Larry, myself, my mother, and the prosecutor, the defender, the lawyer, and the judge. That's all there was there in the courthouse. It's private because Larry was only 17 and a half. He was a juvenile. Maybe the punishment might be different today, but the trial wouldn't be. And nobody's going to know the punishment either. Nobody's going to know outside of who's in that courthouse. No one's going to know what he was convicted of, or what the sentence, what the convicted. And we never knew even really what the sentence was. I mean, it might have been probation. It might have been community hours, too. It might have been he might have to go somewhere. He might have had to go to juvenile detention or something, or somewhere to get checked out, or who knows what happened. All right? But anyway, he got attempted manslaughter for that. And really what they did was the father, they had me first get on the stand. Because we're like the victim or the plaintiff, whatever. We got to stand first. The offender always calls their witnesses last. All right? Now, I get to the stand. I described the apartment, or where I was, that basement, in that little basement apartment, exactly. To the T, I described it. I found out later in life, I have a photographic memory. That probably helped me. I described it more than I had to, really. Because then his father described it, and Larry wasn't there. And they got Larry in the stand, and he just simply said, I was never there. Well, and he put that together. If I was never there, how could they describe it to the T? And, of course, the police had gone over there, the detectives that day, and took pictures of the whole place right after it happened that day. Exactly what it looked like. So, and I wasn't showing the pictures at all. And that's part of it. See, so if I could testify exactly that I was in there, Larry lied. I was never in there. How could I describe it so perfectly well if I was never there? And why would he lie about that? And plus the injuries and everything else. So it all added up, and he was found guilty. But not a lot of people would know that. Because, again, his name never went in the paper at all. No one ever knew it at the time. All right? So anyway, now back to the report now. All right? And this is when I'm 18, okay? This is later in life. Now we're putting this report together. Now, all right, Larry, when I got to Western, too, also, within about the first week of being at school, and Larry was in 9th grade with me. He was 17 and a half, but I guess he just stayed back a lot. Yeah, he just didn't give a shit. He ain't fucking wacko, And he's in 9th grade. A bunch of little kids compared to him. We're all, very young kids compared to him. Think about it. We're 13 to like 15. We're not in high school yet even. We're just barely adolescents or whatever. He's in there practically an adult, 18. So anyway, he actually, and also he had heard. Oh, remember this too. He had put this in the play too, which no one's ever heard about. This one I did, and they called me in one night when I was like 16 or maybe even 15. After it happened to me, and he got found guilty and everything. They called me to say that the girl got raped in the woods right down there by on Holly Hill Lane where the dump is in Greenwich. That road that leads to the dump, it's not really a road, it's like an entranceway, but it leads down the way to and between that are the woods, and you go a little further down, there's the field. But if you go through those woods, Lyon Avenue, off of St. Roch, at the bottom there, just before you turn to Holly, the last road before Holly Hill, if you were to get on that road and go through those woods, straight through to Lyon Avenue, in the direction of, where you go up back towards Ham Ave, you would end up right on, we used to do that. We'd play around in those woods, through the trails, and you could end up in the Cristiano Field, or to the tennis court, or back up Lyon Avenue, and go up, we'd do that on our bikes, everything. We even rode mini bikes up all through there. But, so he actually, one night, he raped her, this girl Wendy. That's all I knew was her name, Wendy. He raped this girl. He left her there in the woods, naked. She ran to someone's house on Lyon Avenue. It's some person's house. They wrapped her in a towel and called the police. And they came and got her, and I guess someone got her some kind of clothes, something, a sweatshirt, big sweatshirt or something. Anyway, it would fit her, and they had her at the police station, and they needed her to testify, and they wanted her to, because they already got Larry for me. What happened to Matt, couldn't get him for that yet, but they figured if he can get him for this one, if she could get her to testify, then, she's too afraid to testify. So they called me to convince her to. And let her know that I testified, and he was found guilty, and he got to the manslaughter, and you never touched me. Been 3 years, never came after me once. Never seen him again. And I talked to her for about an hour in a little room up there where the detectives are. And, they shut the door. It's just me and her. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to intimidate her or anything, And we sat across the table from each other, and we just looked at each other. I just understand, And it was hard for me. I made a tear come out my eyes and that, And as much as I tried, she just wouldn't do it. And something now I remember, now I can put together too now, is that, while Matt and I both had brown hair and medium complexion and all that, so did she. She was a girl too, the weaker. Of course, Matt and I were both weak compared to Larry. The weaker of the two. Larry was basically a coward and a bully. He just is a big coward. That's all he is. Boils down to a coward. Picking on, and young women, maybe women too. Who knows? Women, and, women, children, brown hair, brown eyes, and medium complexion. That's what he goes for, as far as those people go, and those type, those people go. And obviously, because Matt, Wendy, and I all had that. He didn't really care male or female, and it's really not about sex, I don't think. Because like me and that, he never got to the sex, right? With me, he didn't. He asked me to pull on my underwear. But that's when I realized, with me, I realized, you know, at that point, he was going to kill me. What he wanted to do, and then what he would do after that. Right? But he ran to the door, and as I was getting the drill, I was going to drill him. I came running back, and he'd be right there, come around, and just wham, right to his balls, right to his, you know, right there, to the groin. And then when he bent over, I would right to the head. That's what the plan that came together real quick in my head. And there was a drill sitting there with like a, you know, a 6-7 inch bit on it, a big one. I know how to use it. My grandfather was a master carpenter. Yeah, he used to have me out in the wood shop all day long. I used to do the table saws and the drill's nothing. That's easy, you know. You know, he taught me what a McCue drill was when I was like 5 years old or something. You know, so you know, but that was the plan. But I didn't have to do that because the people upstairs came home. They lived upstairs. They were renting already, and Larry couldn't finish me off. And you know, I might have killed him too, which probably would have hurt me even more than living. You know, living and not killing him. I'm glad, and today, and to this day, I'm really glad that I didn't have to do that. That wasn't the end result. Very glad, because Detective McCue said, you know, Jeff, if you did that, and he did die, and it wouldn't stop you, you would just keep drilling, Barbara, and you'd just be sitting there, drilling and drilling over and over and over, forever, maybe for hours, until an adult came by, gently took the drill from you, gently picked you up, and carried you off. And you would be somewhere for the rest of your life, a mute. Nothing would come out of you. I think almost, I don't know what the word's called, but I think it's something that's called, there's just a psychotic term for it, where someone doesn't speak and they almost rock in place. And to an extent, I do kind of rock in place sometimes. Just rock. I forget what that term is, that psychiatric term is. It's a permanent state of mind, though. So that would have put me in that state of mind for the rest of my life, most likely. He understood that. But, and there's more to it than that, which makes all the circumstantial evidence add up. And that's why this case has been solved circumstantially already. 100%. But now Matt is in my homeroom, and one of the first things I hear within the first week, going around the school, Washington High School, is that Larry is going to get me before I'm 18 or something. I don't know. Something like that. He was going to finish me off, but he had to get me, see. He wanted his revenge, because I kind of won, right? Attempted manslaughter, and he didn't get me in the end. And he got attempted manslaughter for it, right? So, and he actually, you know, with me, you know, and Matt in the same homeroom, he could have been scoping me out, like trying to watch if I walk home from school, or if I'm alone walking home, or if you follow me, or, you know. But I spent time with people right away. I'd walk home I'd walk back and forth to school with Alfred and Antorno. He's a big freaking guy, man, huge. He right away he told me, he said, Jeff, just come with me, stick with me. I wouldn't leave the house, and he didn't like that. Alfred was a good friend of mine. And he was on Byram Terrace right there, right near where I live. So I would walk right to his house in the morning, and we would walk together to school. Man, he was a little older, but he said, Jeff, if Larry comes near you, I'll kick the shit out of him. He's one of the people in Greenwich. And Alfred, if you're out there, and you see this video, man, I love you, man. You're like a big brother, man. You and I always, remember He-Man? At the Power Grade School, we had to watch that right before we went to school at your house. We had so fun, didn't we? You're one of the best guys I've ever known. Sorry we lost touch. Maybe we can get in touch again. Yeah. But that's what saved me, really. It got me going in life again. Got me out there. And after a little while, I wasn't afraid anymore. But he got that started. He helped me the most for that. Of anybody. Anybody at all. Alfred Antorno. And he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He really is. One of the nicest guys in Greenwich I've ever known. When I think back, and so was Anne-Marie, his cousin, Anne-Marie Antorno. She was in my class. Beautiful. One of the most beautiful redheads I've ever known. A lot of redheads, they have red hair, but they don't. They're not always the best looking. Anne-Marie, she didn't have any freckles, I mean, just red hair. The most beautiful red hair I've ever seen. There's only a couple women I've seen with red hair that really could to compete with Anne-Marie Antorno. And she was smart, too, to boot. And really didn't have bad attitudes. And she was a really nice girl. I grew up with her. And I think the Antornos were probably a really good family. Anyway. But the day that happened to Matt, you know, in the case report, it was 6 p.m. The sun is setting, and this is McCue, going over this, basically putting it together. And the fact that he knew that wasn't the same homework with Matt, he could have been thinking, he's seeing Matt, he's seeing me, he's seeing Matt, he's seeing me, Larry. Now it's September. Matt's missing for a few days. Now, he gets killed at 6 p.m. Now, at that time, if Matt's fishing on Pembroke Road, on that straightaway, which is where he was up those woods right behind Pembroke Road, between Greenway Drive where Larry lived, and Larry's up on a hill high up, and across the way, across the other side, and the river's down below. See, the river runs low. And there's a hill going up on the other side of the river, though. So you can't forget that. And that's what the Detective McCue kind of came up with. All the other stuff was kind of obvious, but this is what he had to think about, was that basically, it was what Larry was seeing. You see, Larry wanted to get me, and I used to fish that spot. Even after we moved to Pembroke, right after that year, I used to go fish there. All right? And I really never could fish the Byron River before I moved to Pembroke, because it was a long trip with a fishing bowl, and I never really knew much about the Byron River until I moved there. But it runs right along Pembroke Road, basically. And when you get to Pembroke Road up there by Shentro, that little area between, you go around the curve, you come down, it's one long straightaway, basically to Glenville. And there's the mill right there. It was in that section below the waterfall, right in there. It was a great place for bass with a lure. You could just catch bass endlessly there. But I used to fish there too. For all I know, Larry, he might have seen me there once, who knows? And I have no idea, but McCue put it together like this. Matt's fishing at 6 p.m. He's standing there with his back to the hill. His back to Larry's house. Larry comes out of his house maybe. He sees somebody down there. Looks kind of like me. Same complexion, same hair. We were wearing the same things that day. Think about it. That happened to me and that happened to Matt. Right? And Matt was gone for like a few days. So he's had the same outfit on. Right? Up until the day it happened to him. Right? Exactly. So when he sees that, it reminds him of me. Maybe he goes into like a rage. Oh, I'm going to get him now. It's my chance, right? And just going wild like he did on me the first time, right? He runs inside the house. He grabs a steak knife out of the drawer. See, this time he's actually got a little better. The framing nail didn't work so well. He's got a much better tool now for the job. He runs down the hill through the woods. And because Matt now, at this point, it's really hard to ID someone from behind anyway. Especially two people who are very similar to each other in height and weight, and, build, and, color, skin color and eye color and all that other stuff. Very hard to tell from the back, right? Well, especially also to boot with the fact that the sun is setting now, starting to set, but it's going over the hill behind on the other side. So it's starting to cast shadows. And it's casting the shadow of the hill over the river and everything. It's starting to get darker faster in that area. Right in that valley right there, down by the river. All right, and Larry's looking into the sun, really. He's up high, and the sun is in his eyes. So what he's seeing down there into the dark, from the light to the dark, that's the hardest way to see. Like when you're outside and you're in the dark, and you want to look inside, if you look inside a house, and they got their lights on, and their shades are open, you're going to see very easily in there. But in there, when they're in the light, you can have all day almost right in front of their window. And they'll never see you because all they're seeing is the reflection of the inside of their house. So looking from light to dark is tougher than looking from dark to light. So Larry's seeing basically just a silhouette. But it looks like me. And it might be a little light, a little color to me, and maybe not a perfect silhouette, not totally, black to the eye, like a shadow or whatever. But, wearing the same things I was wearing, exactly. Just by some coincidence, So, altogether, what happened was, he says, he ran the house, got the knife, ran down through the woods, grabbed Matt, and even if in his psycho friggin' rage he was in already at this point, even if he realized that it wasn't me and it was Matt, or it was someone different, or not, he would still have to finish it this time, right? Because if it was Matt, he would have to finish it too, right? Even if it was me, he'd definitely finish me, right? He'd want to finish me, of course. But Matt? See, Matt's not me, right? So he might not even, and he said at that point, he might have been delusional. I mean, the kid was crazy. He was crazy. He really was. And if you're delusional at the moment, or, you're hallucinating maybe even, he might have really thought it was me the whole way. He might have thought he got me, man. Do you realize that? He might think he actually got me that day. I mean, they were to court over it. No one ever asked me about a month, right? Yeah, who knows what's going on in the head. Even if you realize after the fact, it wasn't me. I think it's even worse for him, right? He knows the situation is worse because not only is it just one person, it's two people now. And, you know, I'm still around, too, if you did know that. I'm still there. Uh-oh, that's even harder for me to deal with. You can think now, right? You can understand now why he probably disappeared after 9th grade, right? After that year. That he did it to me. And he did it to me. He did it to Matt. He just freaking disappeared. And, you know, which is also kind of suspect. And, you know, but when McCue put all that together, he ran down the hill in a rage, got Matt, started wrestling with him, grabbed him, pull him, they'll drive him up the hill, stab him in the back with whatever, with that knife. And, you know, and also I found out, you know, they were dirt shoved down his friggin' mouth and sticks and shit. And, I mean, just, oh, God, what Matt must have gone through. I just... He went through a lot more than I did, actually. Even. He felt a lot more before he died. He was tortured, practically. And it wasn't as fast, I don't think, for him as it was for me. And found his underwear under a huge friggin' rock. It's not right that these detectives and whoever's there covering it up, and all it is that Larry Congiu is simply this, and that is mafia. Every goddamn person on the force back then was goddamn Italian and from goddamn Chickahominy. Every fucking goddamn piece of property, fucking misnumbered and all skewed and all fucked up. Perfect hideout. 2nd generation mafia, 3rd generation mafia. Yeah, someone comes in here off the boat mafia. They have that Italian accent and all kinds of shit. So they do what they gotta do to make money. Or it's landscaping, this, that, the other thing. And they got money already to do when they get here. But then their son gets a job. But they're not getting a job working as a police officer. They didn't go to school here. Maybe they came around here like, 25. Just had a kid here. But the kid, he's born here. He doesn't have a Italian accent. He goes to school here, right? Gets high school degree at least. That's a 2nd generation. He doesn't speak with an Italian accent, does he? You know. Now he gets a job as a police officer, right? He's mafia now. Son of a mafioso. Because it is all in the family. I mean, when you're a son, someone's mafia, then you're mafia too, basically. Alright? It's going to be really tough to get out. And your father won't help you much, probably. Once you leave, you're live. And if you leave, fine. You don't have to stick with it. Your father probably won't kill you. It probably won't, nothing can happen to you. But, you know, you're not coming back. Whatever. But, I have no idea how that works out. But, anyway. It's 3rd generation, though, at this point. You know, if you became an officer, 2nd generation, so a police officer, maybe moved up a little bit. Now your kid goes off to high school. Not only that, you get some benefits now, and you can probably get your kid into college pretty easily if he does pretty well in his college, and and then he probably could get a scholarship. And being that you're a police officer, I'm sure there's some benefits there as far as for your kids in college. The military does that for their military personnel's kids. Helps them get college degrees, that kind of thing. Now he gets a college degree. Now he becomes like prosecutor, right? But they want to get in the government a little bit, all right? Because they want to. Yeah. But anyway. But Matt was found under a big rock. And, I don't think that was even in the report. I don't remember that being in the report. It definitely was in the article they ran in the paper. And, but basically, it all adds up. It does really all add up. And there's a few more things that I'm going to add to it. And I had some things over the last 10 years they've been doing to me. Ever since I started putting these videos up. And actually, at first, I didn't put the videos up. I called them on it. I was calling the detectives. And I started to realize that it was since I was doing that I was getting more and more trouble here in Stanford. All right? And remember, most of that force came from Chickahominy. And so did Larry. They're all Italian. And I'm thinking this started even before I was hurt by Larry. I think it started with somebody else. A landlord we had. This is just part one. But mafia. And that's why they're covering up this thing, or trying to. For Larry. Only it's gotten involved more and more people in it, you see? More and more people involved. To cover this thing up. Because nobody thought I'd ever talk. Well, I'm over my mom now. She killed herself in 2008 in Greenwich. I was hurting for a while. When I was doing these videos, I really wasn't up myself. It took about 10 years to get over it, you know. The last day was last Mother's Day. It's her Mother's Day, and that was one of the toughest days. And her birthday, but I got over those days. And I'm not really, you know, 10 years went by, and now I can actually, you know, I can start living my life and getting on with life. You know. Probably the hardest thing I ever dealt with in my life, my mom committing suicide. You know. But this has been part one. I really can't do it all in one video. You got the idea, though. But that case is closed circumstantially. Detective McCue said before I left that day, he said a couple things to Jeff. Well, 99.99999, and a line over the last 9, which means 9 sugar percent. Sure, there he did it. Circumstantially, he definitely did it. It's just a matter of hard evidence. With just circumstantial evidence alone, it's not, you're not going to win in court. So it's useless to arrest him because he's not going to be found guilty. You know, and there's no hard evidence. You didn't know. But that hard evidence is sitting right there in the detectives. See, they didn't have DNA back then, but they still got the knife. They didn't have any DNA on any hair or anything, any skin or anything, blood, anything on that knife. Anything that might not be matched, skin or blood or anything, to test it. And it hasn't gone to the FBI yet either. Everyone thinks it's a cold case, but it really isn't. Because when you solve something circumstantially, it's just a matter of the hard evidence. But circumstantial proof is enough to say that he did it. It's just not enough to convict him of it. You see, so Detective McCue and I solved that. And he had that knife right there in his friggin' office, right there in those offices. But not much you can do with it, right? We didn't have the kind of technology we have these days. We didn't have all this forensic technology. This has all come along in like the last, during the computer age, really. DNA and all that. Genetics and all that stuff. Sure, so. Anyway, all she could do is test the blood type, baby. But you couldn't, match up specifically with one person. This is all for Mrs. Margolies, and I'm going to meet you, Mrs. Margolies. I know somebody who knows you, or I met them recently. A couple people know you. They're going to introduce me to you. I've always wanted to meet you, Mrs. Margolies, if you watch these videos. And we'll meet somewhere, not in Greenwich. Somewhere we'll know, no one will know where we're meeting. And we'll all go individually in our own cars. Not in Greenwich. In Connecticut, but not in Greenwich. Somewhere, in person. Then when we get there, we'll all follow each other to where we're really going to talk. Okay? There are too many people that might hurt people if those people talk to the wrong people. And I know what I'm dealing with, but there are a few people that are looking into this that don't quite understand how much trouble they can get into, even to this day, by asking the wrong people too many questions, especially in Greenwich. And those would be mostly officials, police officers, and maybe a few detectives. I've had some training in my life. I'm 48 now. Then I was 13. My dad was a Vietnam vet. My uncle, a U.S. Coast Guard. My grandfather, a World War II vet for the Americans. He was from Oklahoma. And my grandfather, on the other side, English, fought for the British Royal Navy in World War II. 2 World War II vets. 1 Vietnam vet, and 1 U.S. Coast Guard. My uncle, on my mom's side, who lives right up the road, I'm not going to say exactly, but up in middle upstate New York, not too far up, but and my dad, close to me, my father and my uncle close to me, and also literally close, literally not too far, literally miles, and I saw him a lot. You know, and my two grandfathers. And one grandfather was living right with me most of my life. So, you know, these people actually raised me. And, you know, they trained me a lot of things along. You know, talk about training, man. Talk about discipline and self-motivation and, you know, pushing yourself, you know. I lived with that my whole life. And beyond that, I trained beyond that. You know, probably, but most of them probably, you know, and a few things. Yeah. And I've been to college and some schooling. You know. You know, I've been wasting my life away. I've been doing a lot of shit. A lot of accomplishments, big accomplishments. I'm not going to mention a lot of what they are, but I will get into some of that. Anyway, it's been part 1, and part 2's coming. But I got to remind myself where I'm leaving off of. So from this one, what I'm going to do is watch like the last 10 or 15 minutes on my own of this video, so I can continue it. It's kind of hard to remember where we left off and how the story was going, but you got the general idea of the circumstantial side of it. All right. And any hard evidence they've got, that knife and whatever else, is sitting in that detective's right there in those Greenwich detective's offices right now to this day. And so was my report, and so was Matt's report. I guarantee you that. But those guys are all new to the area, whole new generation there. They were, and a lot of people would never know the things I heard along the way from other people. And nobody would talk to those detectives then. They won't talk to them now. They might never talk to them because they're so damn afraid of Larry Congiu. Everyone on that side of Greenwich, the west side of Greenwich, Pembroke, Glenville, Byram, Chickahominy, maybe all the way over the avenue, anywhere below that post road on that side of the town, pretty much up to Glenville where Riversville Road starts. Maybe everybody was afraid of that kid. Everybody, pretty much everybody that went to Western Junior High School. Over the years, over a few years, not just 1 year, this year, but over many years, you know? There's a lot more to this. But it is definitely, Larry is definitely mafia. And I think it started before that. Something that went on between my mom and the landlord that I figured out, that she told me about a lot later in life. She wouldn't tell me something like this at 13 or 14 or 15. But she told me something. And that makes a lot of sense, actually. And by the way, one last thing. Our Curry's was busted. Cascade, pizza and salad is busted. All the police used to go in there. Used to work there. Police, this, that, the other thing, ambulance, all this shit. Alright? Our Curry's, Jamie Arcuri, his father had our Curry's in Old Greenwich. Where that place is, that pizza place on Sound Beach Avenue, right on the left, just on the railroad tracks. He's cool, that guy. Now, Mr. Arcuri, he had a place there for like 40 years, and a tanning salon right next door. He bought Jimmy that place, or he helped Jimmy get that place going, and he retired. He sold that his Arcuri's and the name for a little while. He was kind of paying for the name. The guy that was now Dimitri, and finally that was gone. And you know, but Jimmy's still there. And about 8 years ago, he got busted. Well, not really busted. A rookie busted him for 10 pounds. He had 20 pounds of marijuana at the store at his business. There's a school right there, an elementary school. If you don't, I think it's Suburban, runs right down there. Right, that's the first road, right next to Arcuri's, not Valley Road, but Suburban. That little short road. Before you get to Arcuri's, they're heading from New York towards Stanford. They're heading like northbound or eastbound on the post road. Arcuri's on the left. You take a left down that little road right before it. There's a little school right there. And if I don't care, it may be a fence or something blocking that. School grounds. 20 pounds of marijuana, 10 pounds in the garage, 10 pounds in his office. And he's right in the post road in his place of business. It's really ballsy, isn't it? Harry Conas. Well, you know why it's just Harry Conas to do that? Well, when this police officer busted him, nothing came of it. The rookie thought he did a great job. Man, I'm a rookie. I made a great bust. It's the bust of my life, and it happened within the first 2 years of starting or whatever. Maybe I'll get a pay raise or a move up position. Who knows? At least a big accomplishment, right? Well, not really. He found out he made a mistake. Because Larry never went to court. And I really don't know what happened to those 20 pounds of marijuana. Because if you don't go to court with it, you don't need it for evidence, right? And did you smoke it yourself? Did you sell it? Did you burn it? How do you burn how do you burn 20 pounds of marijuana out in the back of a police station without getting the whole town high? Without the whole town, no, let's stick up the whole fucking place. Like you drive around with that truck, fucking filled with smoke, but it's on fire. Truck, marijuana, whatever. But but Jamie and I proved it to myself. What I did was I called dispatch. I asked one simple question. All it took was one simple answer from a stupid idiot dispatcher. What does he do for a living? He picks up phones. What's your emergency? What's your address? Yeah, that's all you do. So he goes like that. I go, yeah, what happened with that 20 pounds of marijuana? You called over there, Jamie, at Arcuri's? You called him with 20 pounds of marijuana in the store? 10 in the office and 10 pounds in the garage or the dry storage area? Well, how did you hear about that? Well, that sums it up for me. That confirms what I really didn't know was what I was not 90. I was about 90% sure was true, but that makes me 100% sure. Because if he says, "How did you hear about that?" I guess he heard about it too, right? He knows of it. It's that easy. That's just one thing. Next time, part 2. I'm gonna take a break now. I deserve a break today, especially after the last 10 years. You know what Larry did to me when I was 13? That was one day, 10 minutes. I've had 10 years now. It's all come back to haunt me. Since I started trying to get back into it, trying to figure what's going on around here. Especially when in the first week I was arrested by the Greenwich police for breaking and entering and trespassing on Vinci Drive. And breaking and entering into the last place there at the end where my mom lived. How do you break and enter into 2 thick glass doors or sliding doors? You have to buzz your way in. They have to buzz the door open without breaking the door. And get up there and knock on the door and get into a door that I don't think even a battering ram to get through. Those are goddamn doors. All right? Breaking and entering? I don't know. And I was on the street when the police came. I was leaving, actually. And they just arrested me. And on the computer screen, it said, and when I was in the car, it said trespassing and breaking and entering. Then while I'm in there, before they came and get in the car to take me down to the police station, it says the breaking and entering goes away suddenly. Also, that's not true now. They didn't ask me anything. My crazy mom who committed suicide about a year and a half later, they were listening to her. All right? Now, you know about the past. You already know what happened to me at 13. You know about Matt. And you know about me and McCue, what we did when I was 18 and 19. All right? And since then, I've been pretty much living my life. And I've done a few other things. We'll get to that. Now we'll go on from the time I was about 18 or 19 with McCue that day. Go on from there to about 10 years ago. Not much to say about the last, up until 10 years ago. Not much. Pretty much just living my life. But then it started getting personal with me. And I knew a lot of things about Greenwich. A lot of things I've always known about Greenwich. A lot of wrong things. But I never said anything. Because nobody bothered me. I minded my own business. Because nobody got in my business. But then suddenly, 10 years ago, when I moved back from upstate New York, I left for like a year and a half. I moved with my dad here. And right away, within the first week, people getting all up in my business. And fucking with me. Never been arrested ever in my life. Never Greenwich once going up there. And that's very hard to do, especially as a juvie. Not even a juvie record. Nothing. Perfect fucking record. And then I get to Greenwich visit, and within a week of visiting there, I get arrested for breaking and entering and trespassing in my own mom's house. And I got a nollie for that, Public defender wanted me to plead guilty to that shit. I said, no, I plead not guilty. She went in, told the judge, she said, no, you got a nollie. Right away. Walked right out. 2 court appearances, maybe. And a public defender, that's all it took. And they never even fingerprinted me. That's an arrest? Is there a record of my arrest? Or is that some kind of harassment or something? Some bullshit? What is that? Did you ever enter my fingerprints in the database? Ever? Supposed to do that, right? You wear ink or whatever. Somehow they get entered. That's how you do that. Especially these days. For a while now, at least. You just got them in your files, right? At least at the police station. You gotta keep that shit. Anyway. So, part one over and part two to come.